This is probably the best signing for the Denver Broncos so far in this free agency. Sean Payton has absolutely shaken things up, dominating NFL free agency in a way that's hard to believe, even by the highest expectation. This offseason, Payton has found his Joker player, and his moves are sending waves through the league. He's proving once again to his fans, don't doubt me again. Let's break it all down. What's up, buddies? Welcome back. If you are new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We cover all AFC West news here on this channel. The Denver Broncos tight end room has been, frankly, underwhelming for years. Statistically, they've been at or near the bottom of the league in just about every measurable category. But for a Sean Payton offense to thrive, a strong tight end presence is essential. Think about the players Payton has worked with in the past: Jeremy Shockey, Dan Campbell, Jimmy Graham, and even Taysom Hill. He knows how to maximize the role, and he needs a tight end who can deliver. Enter the Broncos' newest acquisition, Evan Engram. He is the player many fans were hoping Denver would trade for last year, a move that would have cost a second or third round pick. Instead, the Broncos secured him as a free agent on a 2-year deal. To sweeten the deal, they convinced him to choose Denver over a tight end needy team like the Chargers, making this victory even more satisfying. Now, the question is why he is considered such a massive upgrade. Taking his career averages and projecting them over a 17-game season, he comes out to an impressive 755 receiving yards. That's the kind of production that could completely transform the Broncos' offense. When you compare Evan Engram's consistency to some of the best tight end seasons in Broncos history, it's eye-opening. Julius Thomas's best year saw him average 788 receiving yards. Meanwhile, Engram's average season is nearly on par with that, showing just how impactful he can be. In fact, a great year from Engram would arguably eclipse anything we've seen from Thomas. And that's not even a debate. Looking at last season, if Engram had been on the roster, his production would have made him the second highest receiver on the team, just behind Demaryius Thomas. The year before that, his 775 yards would have led the entire team in receptions. It's clear he's a game changer, and it's no surprise he was highly sought after. Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers made a push for him as well, but Engram ultimately chose Sean Payton and Denver over Harbaugh and Justin Herbert. If that doesn't signal who has the edge in the AFC West, what does? Engram brings more than just numbers. He's a mismatched nightmare for opposing defenses. Yes, there were some concerns about his health, particularly due to a labrum injury, but the Broncos played this situation perfectly. They didn't just court him, they wined and dined him the night before free agency opened and had him in Broncos headquarters the entire next day. That's where their medical staff carefully evaluated him to ensure he'd be ready to contribute. The fact that Denver ultimately signed him speaks volumes about their confidence in his health. And with the way this training staff handles OTAs, training camp, and preseason preparation, they've proven time and again that they know how to keep players healthy and performing at their best. This signing isn't just a win, it's a statement that the Broncos are serious about making waves in the AFC West. Over the past 2 years, Sean Payton has proven himself as one of the best in the NFL at putting together strong rosters. Adding a former first-round pick like Evan Engram to the mix just elevates the excitement around this team. One interesting subplot will be figuring out what number Engram ends up wearing. Currently, he's wearing Devon Vale's number, but there's a chance Vale might switch numbers, much like we saw recently with Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua. It'll be worth watching to see if Engram sticks with his current number or opts for a throwback to his college days. Looking at the bigger picture, this free agency class is shaping up to be one of the best in recent memory. Before it all began, I mentioned that landing players like Greenlaw and Engram would be mind-blowing, and we've done exactly that. To top it off, the Broncos also added an all-pro safety. It's hard to imagine a more perfect scenario for this offseason. This roster overhaul has dramatically raised the ceiling for the Broncos. With the moves made so far, it's not just about competing anymore, it's about making a serious playoff push. The defense is already shaping up to be the best in the league, and the offense is starting to look equally dangerous. Imagine Troy Franklin and Bo Nix taking even small steps forward, Courtland Sutton continuing his dominance as a WR1, and now, with a top-tier tight end in Engram, the potential is off the charts. Add in emerging talents like Devon Vale and Marvin Mims, and the offense is primed to explode. Looking ahead to the draft, the Broncos can now focus on finding a game-changing running back to round out this offense. Pairing an explosive offense with the best defense in football could make Denver an unstoppable force in the league. The stage is set, and the excitement is real. This team could be something special. You can honestly make the case that if the Broncos find the right running back in this year's NFL draft, this team could be just as good as the one that won the Super Bowl with Peyton Manning. That's not an exaggeration. This roster is stacked, and Sean Payton has been pulling all the right strings. One of the most underrated aspects of adding Evan Engram is his versatility. He's not just a tight end. He can line up as a running back, a scat back, in the slot, or on the line. That flexibility alone is a game changer. But his dominance in the red zone? That's the real difference maker. Last season, the Broncos had to get creative and rely on some gimmicky plays in the red zone, like when Bo Nix went up and mossed a defender on a trick toss from Cortland Sutton. With Engram now in the mix, those days are over. He's a true red zone threat, and his presence unlocks a whole new dimension for Sean Payton's offense. But are the Broncos done yet? That's the big question. News is also just broken that Cooper Kupp has officially been cut. He was on the trade block, and there are whispers about Sean Payton and Sean McVay having met in Cabo recently. Could more surprises be on the way? With the way this offseason is going, anything feels possible. If there's anything left in Cooper Kupp's tank, you can bet Sean Payton would have gotten the inside scoop from his friend Sean McVay. If the Broncos make a move for Kupp, it's a clear sign that there's still some fire left in him. But if they don't, it might be the final confirmation that Kupp's days as a dominant Triple Crown receiver are officially behind him. The version of Kupp we saw lighting up the league a few years ago may now be a thing of the past. On the flip side, the acquisition of Talanoa Hufanga is looking better by the minute. A former 49ers play-by-play announcer described him as the big bad wolf because, as he put it, he huffs and he puffs and he blows everything down. That energy and playmaking ability are exactly what the Broncos need on defense. With Hufanga in the mix, the defense is set to wreak havoc, making this season and the next several an absolute thrill to watch. Looking ahead, the Broncos are finally turning a corner financially. After years of dealing with Russell Wilson's massive dead cap hit, the team has gone from being at the top of that dreaded list to sitting comfortably in the middle with just $30 million left. Next year, that burden is completely gone, and with Bo Nix on a rookie deal, the Broncos are poised for success. This rookie contract window gives Denver 4 years of flexibility to build an elite team around Nix. What's even more exciting is Nix's potential willingness to take a hometown discount, similar to what Josh Allen did, to ensure the Broncos stay competitive for the long haul. It's not just about one good season. It's about building a sustainable championship-contending team for years to come. After nearly a decade of missing the playoffs, Broncos fans are finally seeing light at the end of the tunnel. This could very well be the most exciting 5 years in franchise history. The team has hit rock bottom and is now on the rise, poised to reclaim its place among the NFL's elite. Buckle up. This is going to be an incredible ride. Now, I can't help but imagine the Broncos making the playoffs consistently for the next decade. This is a thrilling time for Broncos fans. One interesting piece of news is that the Broncos lost a key special teams player, but they moved quickly to replace him with Trent Sherfield. Initially, some thought Sherfield was signed to bolster the wide receiver core, but it turns out he's being brought in as a standout special teams gunner. Sherfield's skill set as a gunner is impressive, fighting through double teams, shedding blocks, and making open field tackles. While losing key special teams contributors hurts, Sherfield's addition softens the blow. That said, the Broncos still need to address the punter situation after losing theirs, so it'll be interesting to see what moves are made to fill that gap. Another thing to keep an eye on involves the Kansas City Chiefs. Reports are surfacing, albeit from a mix of credible and less reliable sources, that the Chiefs may have tampered with Ronnie Stanley before the legal free agency window opened. If true, this could spell trouble for Kansas City, as the NFL takes tampering seriously and often penalizes teams with hefty fines or loss of draft pick. Imagine the Chiefs losing draft capital over this. It would be yet another win for the Broncos and the AFC West landscape. With so much happening, it's hard not to feel like this free agency period is one of the best in recent Broncos history. Broncos country, let me know. Are you losing your mind over these moves? Was this the greatest free agency haul ever? There's so much excitement to unpack, and the season hasn't even started yet. Share your thoughts in the comments section.